Welcome and thank you for tuning into the Shell City Gym. I'm your host, Blastnite, and today we're going to actually be looking at a very old deck, but still viable deck, Night March. Now, for a lot of you that have been playing for a while, that played with the Phantom Forces era, where Kyogre, where Megas were quite a big thing for a while, for a big time. I'm bringing back Night March. Night March has always been there, kind of a sleeper deck right now. There's pros and cons to it still. We haven't been seeing it played at so many expanded. We haven't heard a lot of it being won either. There's so many things that it does well against and it does so many things bad against. And so this is one of the versions that was being played a lot, that was seeing a lot of win time too. And so I liked it. I thought it was pretty solid. This was one of those decks that I almost considered playing for Dallas Regionals in 2017. I'm going to talk a little bit about this deck, and then I'm going to actually play some of it. With this deck, you do want to go second. So with that being said, we can potentially hit for a 180. A lot of things now have a HP of 170 to 210, so it's kind of hard. You need to start discarding a lot of things, but it's always helpful too because we got Zoroark GX. But we have 3 Shaman for the ability setup and to explode as quickly as we can. We have 2 Zorua, but not just any Zorua. We have the Paralyzing Gaze Zorua, and this is the flip a coin of heads. The defending Pokemon is now paralyzed, which is kind of good because you have the opportunity to actually have a Pokemon paralyzed, and maybe you don't have the setup that you want, but now you can actually have the chance to do a setup. We have 2 Zoroark GXs, and they're mostly here for the trade ability. We do have the 4 battle comps, but it's always good to get rid of stuff that you don't need. Get rid of Night Marchers, and that's what the ability comes into effect, is to get rid of those Night Marchers. Maybe stuff that else you don't need. As you can see, there's not a lot of supporters, but that also becomes your draw support. This is Zoroark. We have 1 Mars Shadow, and we use the ability Shadow Hunt. Comes really in handy because it only needs a DCE, and our deck is primarily basic attackers. Now we have 4 Joltik, 4 Pumpkaboo, 1 Lele, and 1 Lele should find that draw support, that supporter that we need, not just necessarily a draw support, but a supporter that we need. And we have those 3 Shaman, so really no need for another Lele. We have 4 Lampets. Now 4 battle comps. Even though we do have the trade ability, we could still use a lot of help from battle comp to throw away all our Night Marchers very early game. Get rid of anything that we don't need, maybe rid of some supporters. And then we have a computer search. So computer search comes really handy because turn 1, the objective is to hit for 180, maybe for 200 if we can. Still risking a lot, we can do it for 200. We have 1 field blower. Not a lot, but I mean, you're already hitting for a lot when you're essentially hitting turn 2 or your turn 1. So you really don't need to be field blowing off stuff. You want to keep it for about mid game, late game, or puzzle of time. Pretty doable, especially because there's not much we can throw back in. There's no Mellow here to help us search for these puzzles time. The thing that we consistently want to throw in back in though is those DCEs. Retrieve them, maybe that choice fan. Maybe we need to grab something that has already been discarded. Maybe another supporter. That's good. It helps. Becomes super consistent because we're thinning out the deck with battle comp. 1 special charge, allowing us to throw back in 2 DCE, and that's all we're running. Is special energy. So E-Hammer does hurt us a lot because we're just running DCEs. Now there's T-Mail. For those who don't know, is Trainer's Mail. As we're looking at the top 4 of our deck, we can reveal a trainer card if we find one there, except for Trainer's Mail. As you can see, we're having a lot of trainer cards. A lot. 4 Ultra Ball, a really good number, just to bring out the stuff that we do need. Now we have Versus Seeker, and we were carrying 4 of them just because we're carrying single copy versions of our supporters. And it would be nice to just throw them away and hopefully retrieve them. You don't necessarily want to throw away stuff immediately. You want to see what your opponent's playing, make sure you're very conservative, you're very knowledgeable, very wise of what you're throwing away. Now, 2 good things here. I haven't updated this deck in a while. We have 2 Dimension Valleys. And Dimension Valley is used for Pumpkin Boost, since we technically can't use Lampet, since we can't evolve into it. We're using Dimension Valley, for Pumpkin because it requires 3 colorless energy to attack, but this allows us to attack for 2 colorless, which comes to the DCE into effect. 1 colorless, especially because people were back then were playing a lot of bench Pokemon, and Zork was still a big thing. It was being played a lot, so we could easily get 12 cards, 8 on their side, 4 from us, and that's an easy 8 or easy 12. Getses, I personally don't like Getses. A lot of people try to play this turn 1, and a lot of people sometimes do have trainer cards or items in their hand, and you can essentially draw a 4 or 5. I'm not very lucky. I try not to play Getses as often. I do it every here and now and then when I'm playing against one of my friends just for shiggles. Now I have Guzma. 1 Guzma, you could essentially say that you want to put a Lysander, but that 1 Floatstone does come off pretty easily, especially now with Field Blower. So use this Guzma wisely. Make sure that you don't get stuck out there with a heavy retreat cost Pokemon. Hex Maniac. Hex Maniac was also shutting down a lot of abilities, especially since some of the meta runs a lot of abilities. If you cycle out Hex Maniacs and just keep rotating them, Zoroark can actually pick up its momentum if you're playing a Zoroark deck. Now we have to see Buzzwole and Ultra Necro. And the thing with Ultra Necro is it has that GX attack. If you saw earlier my Zoroark game, if you watched my Zoroark game, is where it does 60 to all the Pokemon if your opponent has less prize cards than you do, which hurts a lot because a lot of our Pokemon here are at 60 or less. So there's that Joltik, there's the Punkaboo, there's our Zorua, knocks down half of Shaman's health. So it's just super wise to be super careful. The Hex Maniac does still come very handy. Our Lysander allows us not just to only get out our opponent's Pokemon that we want, but it also allows us to pick up momentum too, because if people are storing their Pokemon in the back, a Lysander, rather than a Guzma, becomes more helpful because it pulls up the Pokemon we want to attack rather than switching out our active Pokemon as well. 1N, as we can see, and I always talk about N should be used only middle game and end game. If it's used early game, it should be a last resort. 2 Sycamores to throw away stuff that we don't need. Draw an extra 7. There's not much to say about this. We're just throwing away our hand. It's just there for more draw support, and it increases the consistency. So 1 Teammates. I usually have a habit of throwing teammates away with Battle Comp very early in a game. It's just because teammates will most likely be used either early mid game to late game just because they're knocking out Pokemon and we're just going in for what we need and then attacking again, hitting for that hard, maybe 180, 200. We have 1 Choice Band. It was originally ran with Muscle Band, but there's so many EXs and GXs. Choice Band is just better because it adds an extra 30 to GXs and EXs. A lot of Night Marchers can already hit for Choice Band, or can already hit for high, and basic Pokemon or non-EX GX Pokemon can still don't have a high HP. At least not a lot of them. 1 Floatstone just to retreat. A lot of it's here for if you get stuck with Zoroark or a Shaman. It's just there to help you, the player, use it wisely and retreat whatever is in the active. Now for DCE, that's all we're allowed to have, and that's all we need. We have a lot of items to throw back in those DCE if we lose them. Now, again, some of the bad things about having this deck is that Ultra Necro hits things with his GX attack for 60 HP, or for 60 damage counters, which knocks out a lot of things. In return, we can hit some of their Pokemon with Zoroark for weakness, which would be the Dawnwings. We can hit with Punkaboo for weakness, which would be the Necrozoma. Dawnwings, or not Dawnwings, Ultra, I believe, is affected by Fairy. The Lampent will never use, and then when we're playing, say, things against um, a Lucario GX, some Lucario GXs are ran within the expanded meta. I've seen a few, but it's not a lot. Mars Shadow hits for weakness on Zoroark and other things, but it doesn't mean Joltik can also come in and hit things. It also hits for water. Um, hits some normal things, which would be the Lifeless Flying, but we don't see a lot of that. Buzzwole, we actually hit for weakness with Punkaboo, so there is still a lot of weaknesses out there. Night March is still good. It hasn't gone away just yet. The only thing that is there too is Oreo Choreo, and a lot of people carry Oreo Choreo now. Just a one-of copy. That's why we have Zoroark. SCP hitting, even though we might not necessarily need all our Night Marchers in the discard. I even named it Broken Deck too. Broken Deck was without the Zorua from without the Zorua with Paralyzing Gaze. So let's start this actually. Hopefully we get in a few good games. I thought I had this one favorited. Now I could essentially talk about a deck and its build for about 20 minutes rather than the 10 minutes I try to do. And I want to keep it down to 10 minutes just to get the point across what we need to do. I think it's also better in action. I feel like this is a Zoroark deck. I would like to go second. Again, you always want to start second with this deck. Now we have a good lineup here. Punkaboo, or we don't want to use Punkaboo because we don't know if we're going to draw into that D-Valley. So we want to make sure that we're just safe and play with Joltik. And if Joltik does get hit, we can always put our other one out there. It's just a prize card for them, but it puts a Night Marcher in our discard. As quite often you'll see the Zorua more and more, just because Zorua has the Paralyzing Gaze attack. Maybe they're playing an expanded version of... Oh man. They didn't have a draw support or anything. I feel bad for them. Well, at least we got a tournament ticket. It's not what I wanted to do, but... Hey, you gotta do what you gotta do. He didn't waste our time, which I greatly appreciate. So close to that Metagross, even though I traded for some. Oh well. Let's see what we're going to pull out next. Looks like we're going to play a Darkrai deck, which is really helpful because we have Marshadow. We don't even need to throw away a lot. The thing I do wish that this deck had was some kind of Rescue Stretcher. We can always grab Puzzle of Time and put it in there. Or put back or whatever we needed. It doesn't become super helpful like a Rescue Stretcher. So I don't want to put down the Shaman just yet. Again, this is Darkrai. He's going to try to do a good setup. Now, what else? What is he going to do? He's going to have that max elixir. He's going to actually hit it. Wow. What is he going to do? What is he going to do? He's going to Cynthia. That's right. We have Cynthia now to be hitting for Darkrai, or Darkrai can use Cynthia. It was super dependent initially on N and all the kinds of things. That's perfect. So I need to have a really good setup like he did, so he doesn't come back and hit me. Now the Hypnotoxic Laser, it's not the Skyfield one that we typically see, uh, or it is, I guess, that they're using Skyfield as the last resort. They're having a really good setup. I wonder what else they're gonna do. There's that Dark Cloak. They usually do carry one copy of the Dark Cloak, and it's just for that free retreat. He's even getting the perfect play on the Shaman. Excuse me. I didn't want to sneeze for everybody. Now he's gonna Guzma. I don't have anything, but he's gonna get ready. Just in case I play like that Marshadow or another Pokemon that he wants to easily target. So I have to be careful. It's most likely going to be the Shaman that he's going to target. And now I'm just going to hit for 10. I'm actually awake. It'd be really nice to essentially knock out this Darkrai. It is very possible with Night March. I should have saved this, but now I get to actually bring out another Puzzle time. That was my mistake. I should have Battle Comp first for anything. So I'm going to throw... I do have a Versus Seeker. And I have Computer Search. So I'm going to throw away the Computer Search. I'm going to also throw away the Sycamore. I should essentially throw away as well as the DCE. Choice Band will allow me to pick out what I need. So I'm going to get rid of the Computer Search before I do that. I'm actually not going to get rid of Computer Search because it would be foolish. I will throw away that DCE though, because that's initially what I wanted to go back in for. Should have probably grabbed the U-Ball, but that's okay. We have the Sycamore to throw away that Lampet. Okay. Now I'm going to attach the Choice Band. I'm going to attach this DCE. I'm going to play Shaman for 4 and hopefully draw out more Night Marchers to throw away with Sycamore. That's still pretty decent. I'm going to go back in for a Joltik. I'm not going to place Marshadow because Marshadow is going to become a target. I hate to throw away that Puzzle of Time. I would really want to draw into another one. Hopefully use it. Oh, this battle comp will be perfect. I will keep one Joltik here. Or 2, since that's all I can keep. I'm going to draw into my Professor Sycamore. It's 20 damage per. Now it's good because I have Zorua, as he most likely will explode next turn. Try to set up a heavy bench. I have 4, 6, 8. 8 times 2 is 160. Dang. That's the 160 times the 30 minus 20. I just needed one more Night Marcher. And it's just that resistance that saved him. It was a good setup too. I drew into that DCE. I wasn't 100% sure if I was going to draw into it. Marshadow will have the ability now. The thing too, you also need to throw away a Joltik for Marshadow to activate its ability unless you want to attach 2 DCE to Marshadow to use Punkaboo's attack. Zoroark 2 becomes really handy because it allows you to attack Shamans, since there is a lot of Shamans in play. Punkaboo is able to attack Hoopas as well, that runs his deck. We only have Sycamore. It would have been a good time to play out Marshadow or something like that of that nature. I'm gonna go play Marshadow now. I'm gonna throw away the Sycamore with Trade. Get another 2 out. I need to double check if I have this Float Stone. I think I do. I'm gonna throw away Teammates because that's what I need. The Colress is not gonna be much help. And the U-Ball, just to make it a little bit more consistent. So I'm going to grab Teammates since we got knocked out. And now we're allowed to grab anything we need. Which was going to be this Float Stone. And a Versus Seeker. Now I'm going to touch the DCE. I'm going to trade. I'm not going to trade it just in case I need to use the Ultra Ball for that last Shaman. Now we're ahead of 2. There's our other Dimension Valley. There's the Gitses. It'd be really good if Fighting Fury Belt was still here, but since there is more Dark Pokemon, Choice Band is the preferred choice, and Choice Band can come back from that little bit of resistance, unlike Fighting Fury Belt. One makes you gain 10, and another makes you lose 10, if you're talking about resistance and the mathematical sense. He's going to do Dark Pulse for 190. That Choice Band helps a lot, even if he didn't have anything else. Too bad Puzzle Time is in there. I do want to go in for a Joltik. So I'm going to use Teammates. Grab whatever I need. There's that one Joltik. And the last DCE. So I'm going to Floodstone Retreat into Joltik. I'm going to get rid of Gitsis. I know I have 12 cards left, so I have to be super careful on how many I start throwing away. There's that special charge that I was just looking for. And now I'm going to Night March for 180, just a perfect number. And there's a Pumpkin Boo. I still have a D-Valley. I'm so glad I didn't throw the last one away. It's usually tempting to get rid of those D-Valleys. You do want to save them just because a lot of people will throw them away just because they have it set up. Just save it. Just keep it. Hold on to it. Use Night March or use Jolt Check as much as you can. Resort to Pumpkin Boo as a secondary attacker rather than the primary attacker. It does have more HP, but it's still within that 10 to 60 range where it's still easily KO by stuff. Again, I've talked about before how 70, 130, it's that 10 extra HP that carries a lot of people out. He's going in for a Versus Seeker or Guzma just to get rid of stuff. He would have to get rid of a lot more stuff sooner rather than later. I do lose that Floatstone if he does Guzma, or if he goes back for anything. And losing Guzma, losing the Zoroark, I just bring back out Joltik and I win the game. It is going to be nice to see him set up everything. For the longest time, I was the biggest fan of Darkrai. Oh, we even drew out the Guzma, that's perfect. He's going to Versus Seeker. He probably didn't want me to have a Versus Seeker in hand, which is totally fine. So now that he has enemy, now I need to work harder, work faster to draw out and to win to this game. And that is the game. I'm going to pull out teammates. He's worked really hard. I give him a lot of props. I didn't go through as many resources as I thought I was. I'm going to see if I can push this game a little bit and see if he quits. There's the computer search. This would be a really good game if I drew into that Punkaboo. He's just going to quit, like I thought. That was a really good game. I wasn't expecting to see a Darkrai. I was hoping to see more of a Buzzwole kind of situation. Or maybe Lucario. Or even an Ultra Necrozoma to see how it would be playing into. Let's see, we're done. We drew into Shaymins, which is a shame. But there is 3, so it's a bigger probability that we'll draw into it. I don't want to play this other one. They had their mulligan. Ash Ketchum 93. I'm assuming that he was born in 93. What else? What is he doing? Yes, I would like to draw a card. There's 2 Puzzles of Time, which is great. I'm not going to place anything. Computer search really early game. That is impressive. Oh, it's another Night Marcher. It's weak against Psychic, which is really beneficial. I don't have to throw a lot away. Oh, wow. Well, there's one of those guesses times where they actually do hit everything that they need. That would have been a really early game. I would have thrown away a puzzle time, or puzzle time would have became really helpful, because I would have thrown away the Punkaboo and a DCE. I already had the float stone. Could have drew him back with the puzzle time. Had a shaman in hand too. So he's going through his deck pretty quick. This is just a race now to see who can do it faster. Maybe that gets it. Would have messed me up really well. I'm going to try not to let it bother me. So he has two. It's not super impressive that I drew into that gets it. There's not even much I can do. I feel like Hex Maniac is the safest play here just because he can't use abilities. Or anything really. Within those 5 cards that he had originally, there would have been not much. I'm hoping he sends up a little bit of a bigger bench. So if he plays 2 puzzles here, that means he had 2 puzzles. Would have been an extra 2 cards. I don't like how puzzle time never notifies me when I'm playing. He actually did have 2. There's a float stone. So he did have a pretty big, hefty hand of items. I should have just played it for giggles. Would have been one of those times that it would have actually been beneficial. Oh yeah. I made the mistake. He's just digging and digging. I don't know what for. This would be a bigger hand that I say, like, I'm gonna guess this too, because he has probably good items in there. I'm gonna throw away that floatstone for him. So there's 1, 2, 3. That's not bad. That's not bad at all. I can puzzle of time here. I just need to be careful what I throw away and make sure I actually throw away something worth it. I do have Coal Rest still, which isn't bad at all. I can throw away the U-Ball, which will power up my Punkaboo. I want to go for the KO here. And I can use the D-Valley. I can also go for Computer Search. I can also go for another supporter. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to drop another supporter. DC would be super helpful. I'm going to throw away the Floatstone, just so I can get it out already. I can get out Shaman. I'm not going to have another draw support, but until next turn. I accidentally pulled out the Hex Maniac. I am so dumb. That was a misclick that I should have seen earlier. He's going to draw into 3. That is my bad for not double checking it. And it was right in front of me, just phased me out for a second. It looks like it's a heavier just Marsh Shadow kind of Night March. He's just going through his deck, which is really good for him because I know he had to throw away a Joltik. Oricorio would have been good this game too. Teammates, there's nothing really much to teammates. Because there is not. There is that Shaman. Okay. So what I'm going to do here is throw away these two. Even though he's already picked up most of the momentum that he's going to need. Drawing to 4 is going to still be nice. I wish I had one more Shaman. This would have been super, super helpful. I'm not going to play D-Valley just because I don't have anything to attack. I don't know if I'm going to draw the DCE. There's the comp search. There's just a Guzma and essentially I could go for the DCE. There's not much to do. It's just gonna go better. It's just gonna be better just to go into a Versus Seeker or something next turn. Again, I should have thrown better stuff with that battle comp. I'm just gonna throw out one of his Shaman. I do have N in here, and to give me a better advantage. Too bad I can't use it. Maybe I'll draw into the DCE. Nope. But it does allow me to grab a DCE. All I needed was 3 in there. Here's Battle Comp for a little bit more support. All he needs is a Guzma for this game. Again, this was my fault. Terribly mad at myself. Let's go on to the next game. Night March versus Night March. Whoever sets up faster. That gets as though was really good. It really disrupted what I wanted to do. Let's see. Who are we going to play next? This is the Ultra Necro. So this is going to be really good. One of the good games I want to talk about is where it's going to be very careful on what you place out there and who goes first. I lost the coin toss. Hopefully I go second. He does want to go first. This is another time where I get to see if I can rotate my hexes. Since I have Getzes this turn, I'm going to say why not and play it. I do have an additional mulligan, which just makes me happy. I've already seen what's in this deck, but might as well. 2 Floatstone, which isn't bad. He probably has 3 in there. Let me see. He's gonna throw away, going for Lele. Most likely Bridget. What else is he gonna do? I'm not 100% sure. This is where it comes in handy to have Zoroark out there. Like I said, it was weak against Fairy. He did Cynthia, which was kind of weird that he's not carrying Bridget. I don't know if he didn't have another draw support. Shouldn't have thrown away the Sycamore. Um, I know he's not going to have a lot of items there, which is a shame. I don't even have items for me. If this was a better turn, I could essentially defeat it or knocked out the Ultra Necro. I hate to throw away 4 puzzle or 2 puzzle at a time, which would have been a good combo for anything. I could have just T-mailed, but there was not much to T-mail. I'm gonna go in for the 180 already. And I can really do it. That was only 3. I should really save this for another draw support, which I'm going to use. I'm throw away the Zoroark, which kind of hurts, since I'm not going to actually puzzle time back into it. I should grab Choice Band. Should have double checked earlier if I had that puzzle of time. I'm going to grab the Versus Seeker. There's even one Versus Seeker. There's a lot of prized things that I wish that weren't prized. I'm going to go for a Shaman just so I can draw up more stuff. This will be good to throw away. I'm going to draw into him inevitably. Hopefully I draw a U-Ball. It's like I drew into everything I didn't want. I'll play down another Joltik, so just in case he does hit. Excuse me. It's not where I want it to be, but it's going to be close enough. It's going to take us 2 turns. Felt like I should have drawn into more battle comps. The great thing is teammates is up next. He doesn't have that floatstone that he needed, because he was just going to floatstone into it. Floatstone retreat. I'm hoping he has a perfect play. Maybe he won't. It's going to be a perfect play. Dang. I was hoping for it, wasn't I? He's getting a really good setup, and the reason why I was hoping he would get perfect play, because we can see how, if he gets a potential Sky Scorching Light. And this is if both of us have 6 prize cards or less. So it's a very late endgame move. I don't know if he has Floatstone, I don't know what he was trying to do. It's good here because now I have Zorua. I don't have the ability to get back those 2 Zoroark I threw away. He didn't knock anything out, which is kind of rough. But now I have the ability to... I'm spreading damage now, which is great because I can start Lysandering. I don't have to have as much stuff. He's gonna be able to Psychic Recharge, I bet. P-City? I don't know why he would P-City me. All I need is 1 attacker at all times anyways. I like his deck because it's super consistent in what he's doing and what he's trying to accomplish. And there's that invasion. Dark Flash for 130. So now I'm actually able to... Oh, I even got the Lele. I don't want to do Special Charge just yet. But I will bring out Teammates. Since I don't need a lot, I should set myself up for success. I only have 1 N. I do have that 1 Versus Seeker. And to be successful within the situation, I need that Versus Seeker. Once he gets rid of this other DCE, I'll shuffle it back in. I do have a Lele to look for anything else I need. Now I guarantee you that he has a Psychic Energy within that, so he can technically use the Dawn Wings if he wanted to. I was really hoping for a Hex, so I could just start hexing him, and so he wouldn't have that ability. There's that Floatstone. Even an Oranguru. The thing that helps him within this deck, I wouldn't be sure what makes his deck specifically expanded, but the battle comps really do help with expanded with his deck in particular. Throwing the Psychic Energies away. Let's see, he's gonna Psychic Recharge. Again, it wouldn't surprise me to see him put on a Psychic Energy. Let's see. Do I want all my stuff? It'd be 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7. That's 140. 160. I'm gonna attach the Marshadow. I didn't expect to draw into this D Valley. That D Valley would have made a bigger difference of a choice of what I was to play. So I'm gonna put the teammates. I do have a battle comp, which I'm gonna start throwing stuff away. And I'm gonna have to grab a DCE again. So I don't want to throw away the Joltik just yet, but I'm gonna have to give me that boost in hitting stuff. I'm gonna throw a U-ball, since I necessarily don't need it. And there's a 200, which is that 10 health really does push it, because it really messed me up because I didn't have to throw away another Night Marcher, but it is what it is. Out of that whole hand, I feel like he didn't need to do that with Cynthia. There's just a lot going on here. I would have felt like Moonclip's GX was the safer attack to go with, which is what he just did. I could even Lay-Laid. I have 14 cards. If I Sycamore, it still doesn't help, because he's protected. I don't even have a Ranger like I wanted. This is a really tough call. I feel like Teammates is the safest play here. There's the Hex. There's a DCE. He would essentially have to have a Versus Seeker in there, or something to bring out the Shaman for the game. He could also, he's going to use that Sky Scorching Light, which is going to put him in the league. I know it prevents all attacks, but there's nothing much really to do. That Punkaboo was not necessary to put down. He's going to go for safety and just hit it. Which is a good game. I wasn't expecting to lose to this one. I was really hoping to win. Throwing away those Zoroarks early was kind of hurtful. Alright, let's play one more game. Hopefully, I can win this one. Night Marcher is asleep. Deck. What else? What else do you have for me? Fighting and Water. My guess is going to be a Buzzwole deck, which would be really helpful because everything I've been talking about has been come into play. I wish I haven't lost to anything. No, we just gotta wait for him to load the game. I hope it isn't me, but just him. Okay, there you go. This is gonna be a Buzzwole deck. I'm 90% sure of it. I would like to go second, but thank you for asking. It's good that we're starting off with a Zorua, Not in the sense of it's good for us, but that it's good in the sense I don't have to play that Shaman or Lele down just yet. It's actually going to be a Zygarde deck, which is going to be interesting. PTCG Radio just actually released a video on Zygarde this morning and said what the good things about it was, what the bad things. It was talking more about standard, if I remember correctly. So it's good to see like it actually come in handy. I hate for this just to be their only card though. I hate to be that's how I win, because I really don't want to win like that. They are gonna end, which is good for them. Kind of bad for me since I had a big draw support and big options. Let's see. So, it'd be really good to already get rid of stuff. My hand wasn't too terrible. Before I use anything else. I do have a Versus Seeker, so I am going to get rid of stuff too. I'm going to get rid of the Sycamore. Hopefully draw into another battle comp. Yes. That's what I'm talking about right here. Right now. If I had a pretty cool catchphrase, I would put it in right now, or would say it. But I don't. That's already hitting from 120. That's all I need to knock out this Diancie. I don't want to put Hex Maniac though. I want to set up. Setup is the most important thing within Expanded. I'm just going to keep throwing away stuff, what I would need. I'm going to keep with D-Valley since I do have the option of starting to go back in for stuff. Play it for 2. I don't want to bench too many targets though. I feel like this is a really good solid hand. And I already 160 and I could have kept going further and further. Hopefully this is an early win. I'll come back with more Night Marcher decks. I wasn't expecting to see a Zygarde. This is where he needs to come in handy. I have that D-Valley and other stuff ready. That's one of the classic Remoraids. Ooh, the Zygarde would be nice. Zygarde has a nice hefty HP of 200, so that where that choice band comes in handy is to defeat it. I'm already at 160 with Night Marcher, so it'd be at 190. Sledgehammer for weakness. Now it doesn't have a weakness against anything that I have. Brooklyn Hill doesn't do much good for me either. I don't even need to go far into it. I'm just going to keep a nice peaceful wave here. I'm going to actually bring out that Zorak just in case I need some extra draw support. And now I'm just gonna hit. Maybe he'll quit. I can use Lysander. I do have 190, or it would be 180 now. I'm gonna throw away an Ultra Ball. Maybe I can do an early knockout. Since I haven't used my supporter per turn, this helps too. I'm gonna throw away one Shaman. I have 2 puzzles. I'm gonna throw away the U-Ball. I thought I had. I need 10 Night Marchers. Okay, that's 7. Oh, I do have 10. I'm gonna throw away this extra one, since I do have Marshadow. This should be for 220. Maybe you'll quit after this. I would have quit by now. There's 2 Guzma. There's another Guzma. Unfortunately, I'm out of time, and this marks about my 15-second mark. Unfortunately, I'm out of time. I got a text message, and now I need to go handle this emergency. But thank you for watching my video. Please like and subscribe, and hit the circle button. That's going to come up. Also, I will be putting a little bit of videos at the end so you can see what I had and what's on my profile on my YouTube channel. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Thank you.